Welcome to this edition of SAU Magazine, a weekly program featuring news, profiles, sports, commentary, interviews, and special events, all coming to you from the campus of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Established as State Agricultural and Mechanical College by an act of the Arkansas Legislature in 1909, Southern Arkansas University has risen to the paramount of higher education. SAU is now part of a two-campus system comprised of technical college with both state and regional responsibilities, and a state regional college. Recognizing the diversity of student backgrounds and educational experiences, each campus accepts its coordinating and unique role. SAU Magnolia's mission is to educate students for productive and fulfilling lives by providing opportunities for intellectual growth, individual enrichment, skill development, and meaningful career preparation. Further, the university believes in the worth of the individual and accepts a responsibility for developing in its students those values and competencies essential for effective citizenship in an ever-changing, free, and democratic society.
This is the Southern Arkansas University News Brief. I'm Kerry Bubien.
And I'm Britton. Concerned about the future of education in the 21st century, then you'll want to make sure and attend this year's annual Albemarle Lecture at Southern Arkansas University on Wednesday, April 8th. The guest speaker this year is Alfie Kohn, a former teacher turned author and lecturer who writes and speaks widely on human behavior, education, and social theory. The author's criticisms of competition and rewards have helped to shape the thinking of educators, parents, and managers across the country and abroad. Kohn lectures at universities and to school faculties, parent groups, and corporations, and he conducts workshops for teachers and administrators on various topics. Kohn has appeared on more than 200 television and radio programs, including The Today Show and Oprah. Educated at Brown University and the University of Chicago, Kohn now lives in Boston, Massachusetts with his wife and daughter. The Albemarle Lecture will begin at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, April 8th in Harton Theater on the SAU campus. The lecture, sponsored by Albemarle Corporation and the School of Education at SAU, is free and open to the public. For more information on the lecture, call 870-235-4186.
The Office of Student Activities and the Baptist Student Union are now offering free aerobics classes to students and community members. The classes are designed to tone the body and burn fat. 2 classes will be offered on Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule from 3:30 until 4:30 p.m. and from 5:15 until 6:30 p.m. A class will be offered on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 9:30 until 10:30 a.m. All classes will be held in the Baptist Student Union on the SAU campus. The classes are free and open to the public. For more information, call 235-4041.
The Department of Continuing Education at Southern Arkansas University Magnolia will sponsor a children's art workshop. The class will be held on 4 consecutive Mondays beginning March 30th from 6:30 until 8 p.m. each night. The workshops will be taught by SAU students in New Masters and Pivot Point art clubs. The course will cover drawing, painting, sculpture, and ceramics. The cost of the class is $20 per student and is open to youth ages 4 and up. For more information or to register for the course, call 235-4005.
It was a special day for a pair of sisters who work at Southern Arkansas University. Catherine Dodson and younger sister Vera Camp were each presented with Excellence Awards at the recent SAU Staff Awards breakfast. Sunny Whittington, Director of Admissions at SAU, received a Service Award for 30 years at SAU. Staff members receiving awards for 10 years of service to the university were Dan Edwards, Kelly Merrill, Judy Murphy, Ed Nipper, Skipper Pennington, Peggy Rhodes, Donna Sayers, Nancy Stone, and Wilma Williams. Those honored as recent retirees were Fred Alexander, Peggy Rhodes, Betty Sargent, and Laura Tinsley. Dodson, who works as secretary in the physical plant at SAU, received the Mary Anna King Whitehead Support Staff Excellence Award. Dodson said she was just speechless. She has worked at the university for 11 years, and she knows there are a lot of people who deserve the award more than she does. Dodson feels she was nominated because of her ability to help people solve problems that come her way. Making the award more special was sharing the special day with her sister Vera Camp. Dodson said, "I knew she was special. I knew she had so many students tell me how nice she is and how helpful she is." This has been a Southern Arkansas University News Brief. I'm Kerry Bubien.
And I'm Hunter Britton.
This is an SAU Profile. I'm Bill Herrin.
And I'm Tamika Gulley.
At the SAU Staff Awards Breakfast, Katherine Dodson and her younger sister Vera Camp were each presented with Excellence Awards.
Dodson, who has worked as a secretary at the SAU Physical Plant for 11 years, received the Mary Anna King Whitehead Support Staff Excellence Award. She felt she was nominated because of her ability to help people solve problems. Dodson feels the physical plant is for the service of the SAU students and faculty.
Vera Camp, who began working at SAU in 1993, serves as coordinator of student accounts. Her responsibility is to deal with students and their respective accounts. Camp received the Mary Anna King Whitehead Professional Staff Excellence Award. She believes her ability to interact with students led to her nomination. I'm Bill Herrin.
And I'm Tamika Gulley with an SAU Profile.
This is a Southern Arkansas University commentary. I'm Lori Porter.
And I'm Jennifer Lewis. On the SAU campus, it seems many students are having problems with the faculty when they miss classes due to illness. Students cannot help missing classes when they are sick.
Faculty members should be more understanding when it comes to the health of their students. Why are students who are sick getting punished for their health problems? And the students that are just missing classes because they want to are being rewarded for not being dropped from their classes.
Most students understand the policy of a doctor's note, but some students who do not have insurance can afford to go to a doctor. The infirmary on campus only offers over-the-counter medicine, and this only helps to cure minor colds and headaches.
Therefore, this could cause the student's illness to become very severe. The faculty should try to keep this into perspective when absences occur. We, the students, believe that if this is a reoccurring problem, no harsh feelings would be held against the faculty if they lent a helping hand.
I'm Jennifer Lewis.
And I'm Lori Porter with an SAU commentary.
On SAU Magazine is Richard Moore, a senior broadcast journalism major. Richard works for 3 stations jointly owned in Camden. Today we'll discuss how he covered the recent school shootings in Jonesboro. Richard, where were you when you first heard of the Jonesboro shootings?
Well, Eric, actually, I've been out at our transmitter site doing some adjustment and putting in some new equipment with our general manager, Gary Terrell, Kevin Cunningham, Norm Mason, and other engineers and tower people. And so actually I was a little bit late getting in on the loop. I heard it at around 3 o'clock on KAMD on the Mutual News broadcast, which is a national network. And I was told once I got back to the station that it had aired at 2 o'clock as well. So, but I first heard about it at 3, and it occurred around, I believe, around 12:30 or so. And, you just kind of wonder why these things happen. And you always say, you remember where you were when you heard certain news. I can remember that I was also listening to the radio back when the news of the Oklahoma City bombing came down. I had to leave SAU Tech College early because, believe it or not, my glasses had broken. And so I was on my way to the eye doctor. And I first heard news of that, and it's just these types of things just really shocking. You always remember, where you were when you hear the news of them.
Okay, Richard, how does your station receive confirmed news on a story like this?
Okay, well, we're pretty lucky because we are on KAMD. We're affiliated with the Mutual Broadcasting System on Y95. We have news on the national scene from ABC, and also we get a link to the Arkansas Radio Network. So obviously when we got news
of this, we started monitoring those very closely, along with we have several television sets around the station too. So all of those were going, and we were just kind of piecing it together as we went. And of course, all those networks had the news of the shootings, and so that was very helpful.
How long did it take your particular station to report the shootings?
Well, like I mentioned, we had, I believe it first came down on the networks at 2 o'clock, and that was the first time that we had heard anything about it. Once I got back to the station, I have a friend that works at KBTM in Jonesboro, and I thought about calling him, and I finally decided, I said, well, we can get it with what we got here. They're probably too busy to, want to talk to us anyway, so we pieced it together best we could.
Okay, Richard, you worked for 3 stations in Camden, as mentioned before. Did any of these stations air a special segment aside from the regular news broadcast?
Well, we were saying, like, stay tuned, and we were giving a lot details, having the DJs saying, so far we have this information, 3 dead, 4 dead, and these types of situations, the news comes in dribs and drabs, and sometimes the first initial reports, they aren't all accurate, so you kind of have to be careful. But we didn't actually have a, quote, special broadcast, but we were promoting it and airing the news, and we also mentioned it during our local newscast as well once we got it together.
So what you're saying is your station did interrupt its regular broadcasting to report the story?
Yeah, you could say that. During a regularly scheduled break, we had, like I said, the DJs talking about it and giving some details, but we didn't actually have a special report from the network, although we probably could have had if there was one there.
How do you think your station covered the story compared to other stations in this area of the same size?
You mean like radio stations or?
Yes, radio stations.
Okay, well, I really can't speak for what other stations were doing because we were busy, taking care of our needs on our air, but I would think that they probably did about the same thing that we were doing, and the ones that had a national affiliation with a news network are obviously at an advantage. And news is now on radio is getting kind of a sparse commodity, and a lot of stations, say like your Kissins in Little Rock and all, they aren't able to tie up with a CBS radio news or a NBC radio news or whatever, and so when something like this happens, they're at a real disadvantage, and I think that we're probably at an advantage at having that network affiliation.
What did you do to put a local angle on a story of this magnitude?
Well, actually, I didn't do anything, but I believe our news director, Susan Graham, talked with Jerry Guess of Camden Fairview Schools and said what was his reaction and what steps are being taken at the local level on the local district to keep this thing from happening again, and to try to calm parents and try to assure them that the local schools are safe for their children to come to.
Okay, today's guest on SAU Magazine has been Richard Moore. Thanks for listening.
SAU Magazine is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.